Good morning. It's Friday, September 6th. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of WEX Wakeup. I'm Natasha Sweet. If former President Donald Trump wins a second term, then health will be a big focus of the administration, thanks in part to RFK Jr. jumping on board.
Millions and millions of Americans who want clean air, clean water, and a healthy nation have concerns about toxins in our environment and pesticides in our food.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his allies are spinning a web to bring their version of Make America Healthy Again.
Don't you want a safe environment for your children? Don't you want to know that the food that you're feeding them is not filled with chemicals that are going to give them cancer and chronic disease?
While having Trump's support, who could be the next sitting president, RFK Jr. is also expanding advocates in the legislative branch. Kelly Means, a healthcare professional, helped to advise both the Trump and Kennedy camps on health policy. Means and his sister are conducting dozens of meetings with members of both sides of the aisle as the new health movement takes shape. Leaders of the new movement warn top government health agencies are receiving royalties from pharmaceutical corporations for drugs they approve. Governor Tim Walz has long promoted a Minnesota-based medical research center with ties to the Wuhan Institute of Virology in China. The center in Walz's home state of Minnesota, the Hermel Institute, often collaborates on research with the WIV, the institute in Wuhan, China. It was at the center of the COVID-19 lab leak theory. For over a decade, Walz has held meetings with the Hermel Institute and toured the research center. Records indicate the center has thanked Walz for securing it millions of dollars in funding. News of the ties comes as the Democratic vice presidential nominee faces a congressional investigation over his extensive connections to China. He's reportedly traveled to China some 30 times, including for his honeymoon. As a congressman, Walz helped secure over $2 million for the Hermel Institute's technology acquisitions. In 2008, Walz reportedly pushed for a $5 million federal earmark for the University of Minnesota housed group. Are both candidates losing their enthusiasm ahead of Election Day?
Never complain about injustice, but do something about it.
Despite the Democratic National Convention being a highly anticipated event, Harris received no boost from it. In fact, the lack of a conventional bump could signal a major decline in joy among Democrats. Some pointed out bypassing Governor Josh Shapiro for Tim Walz is beginning to look bad. And despite an initial surge, Harris has continued to struggle in several key swing states, mainly Pennsylvania and Michigan. Harris has also received criticism for a failure to break with Biden on the war in Gaza.
But what's happening to our country is being poisoned.
Trump's primary victory and assassination attempt survival effectively united the Republican Party. Nearly all of his major Republican former rivals sang his praises at the Republican National Convention. But there are a number of prominent Republicans secretly rooting for Harris. Some in the GOP with a strong anti-abortion stance are angry Trump didn't take a stronger position on the matter. Warhawks seethed over Trump's non-interventionalist tendencies. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday morning. For more stories, be sure to head on over to our website and give us a follow on social media so you can stay in the know on all that's trending in politics. Have a wonderful weekend.